Let's get right into it. Number 1. Drinking your own pee. Ah yes, the Bear Grylls special. For some reason, pop culture has convinced people that if you're stranded in the desert with no water, the logical thing to do is recycle. Just crack open your body's homemade lemonade and bottoms up. Except, newsflash, your kidneys aren't bartenders making artisanal cocktails. They're bouncers throwing out all the stuff your body doesn't want anymore. That golden juice, it's mostly waste, salt, urea, and a whole cocktail of things your body specifically said, get out. Drinking it back is like digging your trash out of the dumpster because you got hungry. Sure, there are calories in there, kind of, but also toxins. And every time you drink it, your pee gets saltier, which means your body has to work harder to process it, which means you dehydrate even faster. It's basically pressing fast forward on your death montage. And don't get me wrong, if you're about to star in an apocalypse reality show, it'll make for great TV. But in real life, you're just speeding up the point where your brain feels like it's been slow roasted and your kidneys stage a violent walkout. The desert is already trying to kill you. Don't help it by turning into your own beverage sponsor. Moral of the story, your pee is not Gatorade. Treat it like the co-worker you smile at in the hallway but would never invite to dinner. Number 2. Sucking out snake venom. You've seen it in every cowboy movie ever. Someone gets bitten by a rattlesnake, and their friend immediately leaps into action, biting the wound like they're auditioning for Twilight. They spit, cough dramatically, and everyone cheers because apparently the venom is now magically gone. Here's the reality, venom isn't just chilling politely on the surface of your skin, waiting to be vacuumed out. The second those fangs pierce you, the venom is already spreading into your tissue and bloodstream. Trying to suck it out is like trying to stop a house fire by blowing really hard on the flames. Congratulations, you now have snake venom in your mouth and a very confused friend with a hickey of doom. And even if you don't swallow any, you're still doing damage. Mouths are full of bacteria, so all you're really doing is adding a side of infection to someone's already terrible day. That's not first aid, that's sabotage. What actually works? Keeping calm, immobilizing the limb, and getting medical help as fast as possible. But let's be honest, telling your buddy, hey, don't move while we wait for an ambulance doesn't look nearly as heroic as sucking their arm like a Capri Sun. So yeah, unless you want to die of both snake venom and shame, leave the cowboy routine to Hollywood. Number 3. Playing dead with bears. Okay, so this one is technically true, sometimes. The problem is that play dead has been turned into a universal survival tip when it's actually more like a complicated bear dating app. Swipe left grizzly bear, swipe right black bear. One wants you to play dead, the other wants you to fight back. And if you mix them up, congratulations, you just became a buffet. Grizzlies are generally defensive attackers. They'll knock you around because you scared them or got too close to their cubs. In that case, flopping on the ground and pretending you're an abandoned Costco rotisserie chicken might actually work. But black bears, different story. They're more likely to see you as dinner. Playing dead in front of a black bear is like lying down in front of a food truck with free samples written on your forehead. And don't even get me started on polar bears. With those guys, the only advice is don't be in polar bear country, period. The survival myth problem is that play dead gets repeated like a one-size-fits-all solution when really it's a game of bear roulette. Unless you can tell your ursine species apart under extreme pressure, you're probably better off making noise, looking big, and backing away slowly. Or just not hiking in areas where bears live rent-free. In short, bears don't play by our rules, and pretending to be a corpse isn't always the life hack you think it is. Number 4. Rubbing frostbitten skin. Picture this, you're freezing your butt off on a snowy mountain. Your fingers feel like they belong to someone else, and some wise old hiker tells you, just rub them real hard, get the blood flowing again. Sounds logical, right, except it's not. Rubbing frostbitten skin is like taking a porcelain teacup, throwing it down a flight of stairs, and then wondering why it shattered. Here's the science: frostbite literally freezes your tissues. Ice crystals form inside your cells, poking holes in them like tiny little daggers. Those cells are already on life support. If you rub them, all you're doing is breaking them into even tinier microscopic corpses. Not exactly the vibe you're going for if survival is on the to-do list. What you should do is warm the area gently, like with body heat or lukewarm water. But patience is boring, and movies have taught people that aggressive rubbing is basically first aid foreplay. Spoiler, it's not. You'll end up with permanent damage. And instead of, look at me, I survived the mountain, it'll be look at me. I lost 3 toes because I believed a motivational poster about toughing it out. So yeah, next time your fingers go full Elsa, resist the urge to massage them like bread dough. They need warmth, not roughhousing. Number 5, eat snow for hydration. Snow looks so pure, so innocent. It's literally frozen water. How bad could it be? Well, imagine you're already cold, already dehydrated, and then you decide, you know what would help shoving a popsicle made of sadness straight into my mouth. Eating snow actually makes you colder because your body has to spend energy melting it down to water temperature. That means burning precious calories, which you already don't have when you're stranded in winter wilderness. It's like deciding to quench your thirst by drinking an ice cube and wondering why hypothermia RSVP to the party. Also, fun fact, snow isn't just water. It's a buffet of dirt, bacteria, and sometimes industrial pollution, depending on where it fell. So while you're gnawing on that fluffy white stuff like a survival snow cone, you're probably also treating yourself to a sprinkle of bonus toxins. The smart move: melt it first. Turn it into actual water before you chug it down. But of course, that requires patience, fire, and not immediately panicking like a cartoon character licking icicles. Eating snow straight up is survival Russian roulette, and spoiler alert, the snow usually wins. Number 6, following birds to water. This one sounds straight out of a Disney movie. You're lost in the wilderness, dehydrated, and then you see birds overhead. Aha, you think, birds need water, I'll just follow them. Yeah, except birds are chaotic little goblins, not helpful guides. They don't care about you. They care about wherever the next shiny bug or trash pile is. Some birds actually don't need to drink water at all. They get all their hydration from food. Others fly toward cliffs, fields, or literally anywhere that has nothing to do with water. You might spend hours chasing after them, only to realize they were headed straight to their nest, which is now you, lost, dehydrated, and giving free entertainment to wildlife. It's the equivalent of following a stranger in a grocery store because you assume they're going to the produce aisle, only to find out they're just there for frozen pizza. Not exactly a reliable navigation system. The truth, you're better off looking for geographical signs, valleys, vegetation, or actual flowing water. Birds won't save you. They'll just make you look like a confused extra in a nature documentary. Number 7, the coconut waterfall. There's this weirdly persistent myth that if you're stranded on an island or, I don't know, stuck in the world's worst luau, you can just crack open a coconut and pump the juice straight into your veins as a DIY IV drip. On paper, it sounds oddly brilliant. Coconut water is sterile inside the nut. It's got electrolytes. It's trendy enough to show up at every yoga studio. So why not? Well, here's why not coconut water isn't the same as your actual blood plasma. It doesn't have the right balance of salts, sugars, or nutrients. Dumping it straight into your bloodstream is like filling your car with lemonade and wondering why it won't start. Sure, there were a couple of desperate situations in World War II where medics reportedly used it in emergencies, but that was less miracle cure and more, oh god, please don't die before we find real saline. Also, coconuts aren't always pristine. Crack one open wrong, and congratulations, you've just injected bacteria, plant debris, or a chunk of jungle mystery straight into your arm. Infection city, population U. And even if you manage to avoid that, coconut water can throw off your electrolytes and cause serious heart problems. So yeah, instead of becoming the poster child for nature heals, you're more likely to become the cautionary tale for don't let Chad improvise field medicine. So drink it, sure, tasty, hydrating. But as an IV, that's not a survival hack, that's a medical malpractice speedrun. Number 8, punching a shark. Somewhere along the line, humans decided the correct reaction to meeting a shark was uppercutting it, like you're in an underwater bar fight with Jaws. And yes, technically, there's a grain of truth buried under the Hollywood nonsense. Sharks are sensitive around their noses, eyes, and gills. But let's be real, when you're panicking in the ocean and a literal submarine with teeth is circling you, you're not exactly landing a clean right hook. More likely, you'll flail, miss, and just look like you're auditioning for Shark Dancing with the Stars. Meanwhile, the shark is thinking, cool, free protein with bonus seasoning. What actually works? Staying calm, huh? Good luck, keeping eye contact, and slowly backing away while staying vertical in the water. Sharks are ambush predators. They don't love it when prey stares them down, smacking them in the face. That's Plan Z, the last-ditch effort if they're already biting you. Otherwise, congratulations. You just tried to fight a 2,000-pound torpedo with fists made of soggy breadsticks. Punchlines aside, sharks aren't actually out to get you. Statistically, a vending machine has a better chance of killing you. But if you do run into one, maybe save the boxing match for land animals that don't have rows of razor teeth and a home turf advantage. Number 9. Quicksand death traps. Hollywood has ruined an entire generation with this one. Remember every adventure movie from the 80s and 90s, at least one unlucky hero would stumble into quicksand and immediately start sinking like a rock tossed into soup. Cue the dramatic music, the desperate screams, and the hands sticking out as they vanish forever. Terrifying, right. Except, real quicksand doesn't actually work like that. Quicksand is basically waterlogged sand that can't support weight properly. Step into it, and yeah, you'll sink up to your knees, maybe your waist, but you're not about to be swallowed whole like a marshmallow in hot chocolate. The real danger isn't suffocating underground, it's getting stuck, panicking, and then exhausting yourself until dehydration or exposure finishes the job. The survival myth says, struggle hard, fight it, which is literally the worst thing you can do. Struggling makes you sink deeper. The smart move, move slowly, lean back, and spread your weight out, like you're trying to lounge on a beanbag chair from hell. Quicksand doesn't want to eat you, it just wants to hold you hostage until you either calm down or die of embarrassment. So no, Indiana Jones lied to you. Quicksand isn't a sand monster, it's more like the world's rudest mud bath. Number 10. Rationing water too strictly. This one feels smart at first. You're stranded, your water bottle is half full, and your brain goes into mother bird mode sip so tiny that even a gerbil would say, bro, that's nothing. The idea is that you'll make it last longer. Noble, sure, but physiologically dumb. Your body needs hydration to function. If you underdrink, your organs start acting like a neglected car engine, clunking, sputtering, and threatening to break down at the worst possible time. Dehydration wrecks your ability to think clearly, and that's when you start making really stupid decisions. Like, maybe if I climb this cliff barefoot at noon, I'll find a spring spoiler you won't. You'll find gravity. The point isn't to sip like you're in a Victorian tea ceremony, it's to drink enough to keep your body working long enough to find more water. Survival experts say it's better to stay hydrated now and keep moving with a functional brain than to ration so hard that you're drooling dust bunnies while wandering in circles. So if you're in a survival scenario, don't treat your water bottle like some priceless artifact you're only allowed to sniff occasionally. Drink enough to think, then focus on finding your next refill. Rationing to the extreme is just a slow-motion death wish. Number 11. Starting fires with gasoline. Ah yes, the caveman deluxe method. Can't get a fire started, just splash some gasoline on it. Boom, instant campfire, except also boom, instant eyebrows gone, lungs on fire, and a rescue team filing your incident under Darwin Awards nominee. Gasoline doesn't play nice. It vaporizes quickly, spreads unpredictably, and turns any flame into a Michael Bay explosion. If you're in survival mode and somehow lugging a can of gasoline around, pouring it on wood is like trying to light a candle by detonating a grenade. Even if you do manage to light a controlled fire, you've now created a blaze you probably can't manage one that might torch your entire camp or, the forest. Congratulations, you survived the cold by starting the world's angriest barbecue. Real survival fire is about patience, tinder, kindling, oxygen, and maybe a spark or two. Not Hollywood-level pyrotechnics. Gasoline is not a shortcut, it's a one-way ticket to explaining to firefighters why half the valley smells like regret. So yeah, maybe leave the gasoline for your car and not your survival bonfire. Unless your goal is warmth for 30 seconds, panic forever after. Number 12. The universal eat what animals eat trick. Here's the logic: if the squirrels are munching on it, it must be safe for me. Right, wrong, dead wrong, Animals have totally different digestive systems. Birds can eat berries that would leave you convulsing on the ground. Goats can eat literal garbage and be fine. You eat the wrong leaf, and suddenly your survival story turns into a cautionary tale in some ranger's safety pamphlet. Your body doesn't come with the same hardware. Just because a rabbit can eat that plant doesn't mean your human stomach won't treat it like a nuclear threat. Plus, animals know their environment. They've learned through generations what works and what kills. You're just a tourist, guessing because, hey, that chipmunk looks healthy. That's not strategy, that's peer pressure from wildlife. The safe play. Stick to plants you actually know are edible, or better yet, prioritize finding water and protein sources like fish or insects. Copying squirrels is not survival, it's auditioning for the Darwin Awards. So the next time you think, if it's good enough for that bird, it's good enough for me. Just remember that bird also thinks flying headfirst into a window is a solid life choice. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.